The ancient cryo chamber hisses open, revealing a muscular figure in advanced combat armor. Everyone had laughed at humanity's pitiful resistance efforts, but now, as the super soldier emerges from his icy slumber, the tide is about to turn. It's 2287 and Earth lies in ruins. The Hazari, a technologically superior alien race, have decimated humanity in a devastating war. Survivors eke out a meager existence in subservient roles across Hazari-controlled colonies in the solar system. On Mars, Johnny Clark, a 32-year-old former soldier turned reluctant mining worker, stumbles upon encrypted coordinates while repairing an old data terminal. Recognizing the potential importance of his discovery, Johnny covertly shares the information with a small group of trusted human resistance members. They identify the coordinates as pointing to a remote location in Antarctica, an area deemed uninhabitable and unexplored for centuries due to extreme conditions. Despite the risk of severe punishment from their Hazari overseers, Johnny and a team of 5 other humans devise a daring plan. They steal a small spacecraft during a routine supply run, using their limited knowledge of Hazari technology to bypass security protocols. As they approach Earth's atmosphere, Hazari patrol ships detect their vessel. A tense chase ensues through the void of space, with Johnny's piloting skills put to the ultimate test. The human team crash lands near the Antarctic coordinates, their ship badly damaged. Battling harsh weather conditions and with limited supplies, they trek across the icy wasteland. Wind howls around them, cutting through their inadequate clothing. Frostbite nips at their extremities as they trudge through knee-deep snow. After days of grueling travel, they discover the entrance to a hidden ice cave. Inside, they find an ancient facility of clearly human origin, its technology far more advanced than anything they've seen before. The team moves through dimly lit corridors, their breaths visible in the frigid air. At the heart of the facility, they uncover a sealed cryo chamber. The team manages to activate the ancient systems, initiating the revival process for the chamber's occupant. As the cryopod opens, revealing the imposing figure within, the team realizes they've stumbled upon something that could change the course of human history. The awakening super soldier, disoriented but alert, immediately assesses the situation. His eyes scan the room, taking in the ragtag group before him. In a voice rough from disuse, he demands, "Status report." Johnny, awestruck, begins to explain humanity's dire circumstances and their desperate need for a way to fight back against the Hazari oppressors. The super soldier listens intently, his face a mask of concentration as he processes this information. Suddenly, alarms blare throughout the facility. Red lights flash, bathing the chamber in an eerie glow. Hazari forces, led by the ruthless Commander Thea, have tracked the humans to the ice cave and are preparing to breach the entrance. The sound of energy weapons charging up echoes through the corridors. As the team looks to the super soldier with a mixture of hope and fear, they know that the next few moments will determine the fate of humanity. The laughter of those who doubted them fades away, replaced by the imminent clash between humanity's last hope and their alien oppressors. The super soldier's eyes narrowed as he processed Johnny's explanation. "Understood. I'm Commander Marcus Steele. We don't have much time." His voice carried the weight of authority, instantly commanding the room's attention. Before Johnny could respond, the facility's alarms blared to life, filling the air with urgent wails. Red lights flashed, casting an ominous glow across the faces of the team. The sound of energy weapons powering up echoed through the corridors, growing closer with each passing second. Steele's training kicked in immediately. He strode to a nearby console, his fingers flying over the ancient controls with practiced ease. "This facility has defenses. We'll use them." Screens flickered to life, displaying schematics of the complex. Steele's eyes darted across the information, absorbing it at an inhuman pace. "There," he pointed, "hidden turrets and energy shields. We can slow them down." Johnny watched in awe as dormant systems throughout the facility hummed to life. The floor vibrated beneath their feet as massive generators activated, powering up long-forgotten defenses. Outside, Commander Thea led her Hazari troops towards the ice cave's entrance. Her mandibles clicked in anticipation of an easy victory. As they approached, the ground before them erupted. Automated turrets emerged from hidden compartments, their barrels already tracking targets. The first volley caught the Hazari completely off guard. Energy beams lanced through the air, cutting down the front line of troops. Thea dove for cover, her antenna twitching in fury and surprise. Inside, Steele turned to Johnny and his team. "We've bought some time, but not much. Gear up. We're going to need every advantage." The group moved quickly, following Steele's lead. They found a weapons cache filled with sleek rifles and compact sidearms, unlike anything they'd seen before. Steele demonstrated their use with quick, efficient movements. "These are particle beam weapons," he explained, handing one to Johnny. "More powerful than anything the Hazari have. Aim true, and one shot will drop their shields." Johnny hefted the rifle, marveling at its lightweight and perfect balance. For the first time since the invasion, he felt a spark of hope ignite in his chest. The sounds of battle grew louder. Explosions rocked the facility as Hazari forces breached the outer defenses. Steele led the team to a defensible position, his movements fluid and purposeful. "Remember your training," he said to Johnny. "You've fought them before. You know their tactics. Use that knowledge." As if on cue, the first wave of Hazari soldiers rounded the corner. Steele moved with impossible speed, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to target and fire in the blink of an eye. 2 Hazari fell before the others could even raise their weapons. Johnny and his team opened fire, their new weapons cutting through Hazari armor with ease, the air filled with the acrid smell of ozone and the screams of wounded aliens. Commander Thea's voice boomed through the corridor. "Fall back! Bring up the heavy weapons!" Steele's eyes narrowed. "They're adapting. We need to move deeper into the facility. There's more here than just weapons." As they retreated, Steele accessed computer terminals along the way. Information scrolled across screens faster than Johnny could follow. Steele absorbed it all, his enhanced mind processing the data at an astounding rate. "Project Prometheus," Steele murmured. "It's all coming back. We were created for this very moment." They reached a massive blast door. Steele input a complex series of commands, and it slid open with a hiss of hydraulics. Inside lay an armory that took Johnny's breath away. Sleek battle suits lined the walls, each more advanced than anything humanity had possessed even before the invasion. "Suit up," Steele ordered. "These will even the odds." As Johnny donned the armor, he felt power coursing through his body. The suit enhanced his strength, speed, and senses. Displays flickered to life inside his helmet, providing tactical information and targeting assistance. Steele continued to access the facility's systems. "There are other facilities like this one," he revealed, "hidden around the world. More soldiers like me, waiting to be awakened." A massive explosion rocked the complex. Steele's head snapped up. "They've broken through. Time to go." He led them to a hidden hangar where a sleek spacecraft waited. As they boarded, Steele's fingers danced across the controls. The ship hummed to life, systems initializing faster than should have been possible. "Hold on," Steele warned as the hangar doors opened, revealing a sky filled with Hazari ships. The craft shot forward, its advanced propulsion system leaving their pursuers in the dust. As they broke atmosphere, Johnny looked back at the shrinking Earth below. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to truly believe that humanity might have a chance. Steele set a course for Mars, his face set in unbreakable spirit. "The real fight begins now. We'll contact the resistance, gather our forces. The Hazari thought they'd broken humanity. They're about to learn how wrong they were." As the stars streaked by outside, Johnny felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The journey ahead would be difficult, but with Steele's leadership and the advanced technology they'd recovered, humanity finally had a fighting chance. As their ship streaked through space towards Mars, Johnny couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technology surrounding him. Steele sat at the helm, his hands moving with practiced precision over holographic controls that responded to his slightest touch. "We're approaching Mars," Steele announced, his eyes fixed on a display showing their trajectory. "Be ready for anything. The Hazari won't give up their stronghold easily." As if on cue, a massive blockade of Hazari ships came into view, their sleek, insectoid designs a stark contrast to the red planet behind them. Johnny's heart sank at the sight, but Steele remained unfazed. "Activating cloaking systems," he said calmly. flicking a switch on the console. The view outside shimmered and distorted as the ship's advanced stealth technology engaged. They glided silently past the first line of Hazari defenses, the alien ships completely oblivious to their presence. Johnny allowed himself a small smile of relief, but it was short-lived. An alarm blared through the cockpit, causing everyone to jump. "Hazari cruiser on an intercept course," Steele growled, his fingers flying over the controls. "They've detected our energy signature. Looks like we'll have to fight our way through." The ship banked hard, narrowly avoiding a barrage of energy bolts from the approaching Hazari vessel. Steele's piloting skills were put to the test as he weaved through the incoming fire, the ship's advanced propulsion system allowing for maneuvers that should have been impossible. "Johnny, take the weapon station," Steele ordered. "The rest of you, man the auxiliary systems. We're going to show these aliens what this ship can do." Johnny slid into the gunner's seat, a holographic targeting system springing to life around him. The controls felt natural in his hands, almost as if the ship was an extension of his own body. As Steele executed a series of dizzying evasive maneuvers, Johnny lined up his shot. He squeezed the trigger, and a beam of concentrated energy lanced out from their ship, striking the Hazari cruiser's engines. The alien vessel spun out of control, trailing debris and venting atmosphere. More Hazari ships converged on their position, filling space with a deadly lattice of energy beams. Steele's reflexes were superhuman, allowing him to find gaps in the barrage that no ordinary pilot could have seen. Johnny and the team worked in perfect synchronization, targeting enemy ships and managing the ship's power distribution. One by one, the Hazari vessels fell to their superior firepower and tactics. As the last patrol ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, a new threat loomed. The main Hazari blockade had taken notice of the battle and was now moving to intercept. "We can't fight them all," Steele said, his voice tight with concentration. "We need a new plan." He studied the tactical display for a moment, then made a decision. "Hold on tight. We're going to make an emergency landing on Phobos." The ship dove towards the larger of Mars's two moons, its hull glowing red-hot as they entered the thin atmosphere. Hazari ships gave chase, their weapons fire streaking past the cockpit windows. With a bone-jarring impact, they crash-landed in a crater on Phobos's surface. The ship skidded across the rocky ground before coming to a stop, smoke rising from its damaged hull. "Everyone out," Steele commanded, already moving towards the exit hatch. "The ship's self-repair systems are activating, but we need to find cover." As they stumbled out onto the moon's surface, Johnny saw a network of caves in the distance. Steele noticed them too and gestured for the team to follow. They sprinted across the low-gravity landscape, each step sending them bounding forward. Behind them, Hazari landing craft were already descending through Phobos's thin atmosphere. The team reached the cave entrance just as energy bolts began to pepper the ground around them. Inside, they found themselves in what appeared to be an abandoned mining operation. "This way," Steele said, leading them deeper into the tunnel network. The sounds of pursuing Hazari echoed behind them, growing fainter as they delved further into the maze-like complex. Suddenly, they rounded a corner and found themselves face-to-face with a group of armed humans. For a tense moment, both groups had their weapons trained on each other. "Stand down," a gruff voice called out. A weathered man with a salt-and-pepper beard stepped forward, his eyes narrowing as he took in Steele's advanced combat suit. "I'm Colonel Hank Garrison," he said, lowering his weapon slightly. "Who the hell are you, and how did you find our base?" Steele stepped forward, his posture radiating authority despite the tense situation. "I'm Commander Marcus Steele. We're here to take back what's ours." As Steele began to explain their situation, Johnny couldn't help but feel a surge of hope. They had found allies in this desolate place, and for the first time since the Hazari invasion, it felt like the tide might finally be turning in humanity's favor. As Steele finished briefing Colonel Garrison on their situation, the grizzled veteran's expression shifted from suspicion to cautious optimism. "Well, I'll be damned," Garrison said, stroking his beard. "We've been fighting a losing battle for years, but with your advanced tech and intel, we might just have a shot." Steele nodded, his eyes scanning the cave network. "We need to move quickly. The Hazari won't be far behind." Garrison led them deeper into the complex, revealing a hidden resistance base bustling with activity. Engineers worked on salvaged equipment, while scouts pored over makeshift maps of Hazari installations. "We've been planning an assault on the main labor camp," Garrison explained as they walked, "but we've never had the firepower to pull it off." Johnny studied the map, his mind racing with tactical possibilities. "With our weapons and your intel, we could make it work." Steele's enhanced senses picked up a faint rumbling from above. "We may not have a choice. The Hazari are beginning their search pattern. We need to strike before they find us." Garrison barked orders, and the base erupted into organized chaos as resistance fighters prepared for battle. Steele interfaced with their communication systems, upgrading them with technology from his suit. "We'll use the dust storm to our advantage," Steele said, pulling up a holographic display of the weather patterns. "My stealth tech will get us past their perimeter." As they geared up, Johnny couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come in such a short time. From fleeing Earth to now planning a major offensive against the Hazari, it felt almost surreal. The assault team moved out under the cover of the howling Martian winds. Red dust swirled around them, reducing visibility to near zero. But Steele's advanced sensors cut through the haze, guiding them unerringly towards the labor camp. They reached the perimeter fence undetected. Steele's fingers danced over a control panel on his arm, and the security systems went dark. "We're in," he whispered. "Johnny, take your team and hit their comms. We'll coordinate the main assault from here." Johnny nodded, leading a group of resistance fighters towards the communication hub. They moved silently through the camp, using the storm as cover. Hazari guards passed within inches, oblivious to their presence. Reaching the comm center, Johnny's team set to work. They planted explosives and uploaded viruses designed to cripple the Hazari network. As Johnny finished the last upload, he keyed his radio. "Comms are about to go dark. Initiating now." A series of muffled explosions rippled through the camp. Alarms began to blare, quickly cut off as the Hazari communication network collapsed. Steele's voice crackled over the radio. "Phase 1 complete. Move to the detention area." Johnny led his team through the chaos, freeing human prisoners and arming them with weapons taken from fallen Hazari guards. The liberated prisoners joined the fight with a fervor born of years of oppression. Just as it seemed the operation was going flawlessly, disaster struck. A Hazari patrol stumbled upon Johnny's team as they were freeing the last group of prisoners. Energy bolts sizzled through the air, cutting down 2 resistance fighters before they could react. "Contact!" Johnny shouted into his radio, diving for cover. He returned fire, his advanced weapon punching through Hazari armor with ease. But more enemy troops were pouring in, alerted by the firefight. Across the camp, Steele heard the call and sprang into action. He moved with inhuman speed, crossing the compound in seconds. Hazari mechs lumbered into his path, only to be torn apart by his bare hands. The resistance fighters watched in awe as Steele single-handedly turned the tide of battle. Commander Thea's voice boomed over the camp's loudspeakers, rallying her troops. "Crush these insects! Show them the might of the Hazari Empire!" The battle intensified, with both sides taking heavy losses. Johnny and his team fought their way back to the main group, shepherding freed prisoners as they went. Suddenly the sky lit up with the telltale glow of atmospheric entry. Grand Overseer Zaxtil's personal fleet had arrived, tipping the scales firmly in the Hazari's favor. Steele assessed the situation with cold precision. "We're outgunned. All units, fall back to extraction point Alpha. This is not a drill. Move." The resistance fighters began a fighting retreat, covering the escape of the freed prisoners. Colonel Garrison coordinated the withdrawal, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. As they neared the extraction point, Steele's combat suit emitted a series of beeps. A message scrolled across his heads-up display. "Project Prometheus awaits activation. Coordinates attached." Steele's mind raced, processing the implications. He keyed his radio. "Change of plans. We're altering our escape route, transmitting new coordinates now." The human forces split into smaller groups, using the storm and the rugged Martian terrain to evade pursuit. Steele led the main contingent, pushing them to their limits as they raced towards the mysterious coordinates. Behind them, Colonel Garrison and a handful of volunteers took up defensive positions. "Get our people to safety," he radioed Steele. "We'll buy you some time." Steele watched on his tactical display as Garrison's position was overwhelmed. The colonel's life signs flatlined, but his sacrifice had given them the precious minutes they needed to break free of the Hazari's pursuit. As they trekked across the harsh Martian landscape, Johnny found himself taking on more responsibility. He organized the freed prisoners, set up a watch rotation, and helped maintain morale during their grueling journey. After what felt like an eternity of battling the environment and dodging Hazari patrols, they finally reached their destination. Before them stood a massive Martian mountain, its face unmarred by any visible entrance. Steele approached a seemingly random section of rock. His suit interfaced with hidden systems, and a concealed door slid open, revealing a high-tech facility that put even the Antarctic base to shame. As they entered, lights flickered to life, illuminating rows of advanced weaponry and technology. In the central chamber, a holographic projection sprang to life, revealing a message from the creators of Project Prometheus. "If you are seeing this," the hologram began, "then humanity faces its darkest hour. Project Prometheus was created as our last line of defense against extraterrestrial threats. You now have access to weapons and technology capable of waging interplanetary war." Steele and Johnny exchanged looks of awe and drive. They had suffered a setback at the labor camp, but now they had the means to truly fight back. As the facility's systems came online, they knew the real battle for humanity's future was just beginning. The hologram faded, leaving Steele, Johnny, and the rest of the resistance fighters standing in awe amidst the array of advanced technology. Steele's mind raced with possibilities as he surveyed the Prometheus facility. "This changes everything," he said, his voice low but filled with dedication. "Johnny, gather the team leaders. We need to mobilize quickly." As Johnny assembled the resistance leadership, Steele began interfacing with the facility's central computer. His enhanced neural implants allowed him to process the flood of information at superhuman speeds. Within minutes, he had a clear picture of the resources at their disposal. The facility housed a fleet of advanced spacecraft, mechs, and weaponry beyond anything they had previously encountered. But it was the discovery of a network of hidden Prometheus bases throughout the solar system that truly captured Steele's attention. "Listen up," Steele addressed the gathered fighters, his voice carrying across the cavernous chamber. "We've just been handed the keys to humanity's salvation. There are more facilities like this one scattered across the system, each containing its own arsenal. Our mission is clear. We need to activate and secure these bases before the Hazari can find them." He quickly outlined his plan, assigning teams to each of the hidden facilities. Johnny stepped forward as Steele finished, his expression a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Commander, what about the asteroid belt base? That's going to be a tough nut to crack." Steele nodded, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "That's why I'm sending you, Johnny. You're the best pilot we've got, and you'll need those skills to navigate the debris field." As the resistance fighters dispersed to prepare for their missions, Steele turned his attention to his own team. They would be heading to Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, to secure what appeared to be a crucial Prometheus facility. The next few hours were a flurry of activity as they familiarized themselves with the new technology. Resistance members who had never piloted anything more complex than a ground vehicle found themselves at the controls of advanced spacecraft, guided by the intuitive interfaces of Prometheus tech. As they prepared to launch, alarms blared throughout the facility. Steele's enhanced hearing picked up the distant rumble of Hazari ships entering the atmosphere. "They've found us," he growled. "Everyone, move out now. We'll use the confusion of our simultaneous launches to cover our tracks." The hangar doors slid open, revealing the rust-red Martian sky. One by one, the Prometheus ships took off, their advanced stealth systems rendering them nearly invisible to Hazari sensors. Steele's ship, sleek and deadly, shot into the sky last. As they broke through the atmosphere, he saw the massive Hazari fleet descending on their former position. Commander Thea's voice crackled over the comms, filled with rage as she ordered her forces to scour the planet for the escaped humans. "Settle in," Steele told his team as they set course for Jupiter. "We've got a long journey ahead." The trip to Europa was tense, with the team constantly on alert for Hazari patrols. Steele used the time to study the schematics of the Europa facility, his mind working through potential scenarios and challenges they might face. As they approached the icy moon, Steele activated the ship's most advanced stealth systems. They slipped past the Hazari outposts on Io and Ganymede undetected, finally reaching Europa's frozen surface. Scans show the base is deep beneath the ice, Steele informed his team as they suited up for the surface expedition. We'll need to find an entry point and navigate through subglacial tunnels. They exited the ship, the low gravity of Europa making their movements feel almost buoyant despite their heavy equipment. Steele's sensors led them to a seemingly innocuous patch of ice. With a few deft commands on his wrist computer, a hidden entrance revealed itself. As they descended into the icy depths, the team encountered their first challenge. A network of automated defense systems, left behind by the Prometheus project, sprang to life. Laser grids and plasma turrets blocked their path, reacting to their presence with lethal intent. Steele moved with inhuman speed, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to dodge energy beams that would have vaporized an ordinary human. He called out instructions to his team, guiding them through the deadly obstacle course. Using his advanced knowledge of Prometheus systems, Steele managed to interface with the defense grid. His fingers flew over holographic controls as he worked to bypass the security protocols. "Got it," he announced as the defenses powered down. "But stay alert. There may be more surprises waiting for us." They pressed deeper into the facility, the ice giving way to metal corridors and vast chambers filled with dormant machinery. As they approached the central control room, Steele felt a sense of anticipation building. Whatever they found here could change the course of the war. The doors to the control room slid open, revealing a sight that took even Steele's breath away. In the center of the vast chamber stood a massive structure, its purpose immediately clear to the seasoned commander. "An interstellar gateway," Steele breathed, his pupils dilating at the implications. "Not just a defensive weapon, but a means to travel vast distances instantly." As his team spread out to secure the room and begin activating the facility systems, Steele approached the gateway. It was only partially constructed, but even in its incomplete state, it was a marvel of engineering. He placed his hand on a nearby console, and the facility sprang to life around them. Lights flickered on, and holographic displays filled the air with streams of data. Steele's eyes widened as he realized the true scope of what they had discovered. "This isn't just a way to fight back," he said, his voice filled with awe. "This could be the key to humanity's future among the stars." As the Europa facility powered up, Steele received an urgent communication from Mars. The activation had triggered a chain reaction, causing other hidden Prometheus bases across the solar system to begin powering up as well. "Sir," one of his team members called out, gesturing to a tactical display, "Hazari fleets are mobilizing. They've detected the power surges and are moving to investigate." Steele's eyebrows furrowed in a hard line as he assessed the situation. They had gained a powerful advantage, but the element of surprise was now lost. The next few hours would be critical in determining the fate of humanity. "Prepare for battle stations," he ordered, his voice carrying the weight of command. "And get me a direct line to Johnny's team in the asteroid belt. We need to coordinate our efforts if we're going to survive what's coming." As his team scrambled to fortify their position and establish communications with the other Prometheus facilities, Steele turned his attention back to the interstellar gateway. He couldn't shake the feeling that this device held more secrets than they yet realized. Secrets that could tip the balance in the war against the Hazari. Hazari seeking the source of the mysterious energy signature. The stakes had never been higher. Steele's fingers danced across the holographic interface, initiating the facility's fusion reactors. The massive energy required to power the interstellar gateway would be their beacon of hope, or their downfall. "Reactor sequence initiated," Steele announced, his voice steady despite the tension. "Brace for power surge." The facility hummed to life, energy coursing through conduits and chambers. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shuddered. Tremors rippled through Europa's icy crust, the moon itself seeming to groan under the strain of awakening technology. "Seismic activity increasing," one of Steele's team reported, eyes glued to a rapidly changing display. "We're registering movement on the surface." Steele's fist tight. "The Hazari patrols will have detected that. We're out of time." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red warning lights bathed the control room in an eerie glow. Multiple contacts approaching from Io and Ganymede, another team member called out. Hazari warships, closing fast. Steele's mind raced, calculating options. They couldn't abandon the gateway, not when they were so close to unlocking its secrets, but neither could they withstand a full-scale Hazari assault. Divert power to defense systems, he ordered, and get me a secure line to Johnny's team in the asteroid belt. We need to coordinate our efforts. As his team scrambled to fortify their position, Steele's thoughts turned to Johnny and the crucial mission in the asteroid belt. He hoped they had found something, anything that could turn the tide of this war. Millions of kilometers away, Johnny crouched behind a console in the Hazari research outpost, his heart pounding. They had infiltrated the facility with relative ease, but what they discovered had shaken him to his core. Before them stood an artifact unmistakably of Prometheus origin. Its sleek lines and pulsing energy signature were a stark contrast to the angular Hazari technology surrounding it. This changes everything, Johnny whispered to his team. Humanity's reach. It must have extended far beyond our solar system. As they moved to secure the artifact, the air crackled with energy. Johnny's instinct screamed a warning seconds before the first shot rang out. Ambush! He yelled, diving for cover as Hazari energy weapons scorched the air around them. Through the chaos of the firefight, Johnny caught a glimpse of a familiar figure. Commander Thea herself, her eyes blazing with fury as she led the charge. Secure the artifact, Johnny shouted to his team. We can't let them... His words were cut short as the artifact suddenly pulsed with blinding light. Energy arced across the room, overloading Hazari weapons and sending both humans and aliens alike scrambling for safety. In the moment of confusion, Johnny made a split-second decision. He lunged for the artifact, his hand closing around its smooth surface. A jolt of energy surged through him, and suddenly he understood. Everyone, fall back to the ship, he ordered, cradling the now active artifact. This is our ticket out of here. As Johnny's team fought their way back to their vessel, Steele's voice crackled over the comms, filled with urgency. Johnny, we're under attack on Europa. What's your status? We've got the artifact, Johnny replied, ducking as a Hazari energy blast sizzled past his head. But we've stirred up a hornet's nest. Commander Thea... His words were drowned out by the roar of their ship's engines as they blasted free of the research outpost. Behind them, Hazari vessels gave chase, weapons blazing. Johnny's mind raced as he tried to process the implications of their discovery. The artifact in his hands hummed with power, its true purpose still a mystery. But one thing was clear, it was the key to turning the tide against the Hazari. As battles erupted across the solar system, a new player entered the fray. On Mars, Aria's sensors detected an incoming transmission from the approaching unknown spacecraft. The AI's processors worked at lightning speed to decode the message. Message decrypted, Aria announced, its synthesized voice carrying a note of what could almost be described as surprise. Origin, Terran diaspora. Message reads, Brothers and sisters of Earth, we have returned. The children of humanity stand ready to aid in your fight against the Hazari. You are not alone. The revelation sent shockwaves through the resistance. A faction of humanity escaped centuries ago, now returned with advanced technology and ships to aid their long-lost kin. As this news spread, Grand Overseer Zaxtil realized the full extent of the human resurgence. His mandibles clicked in agitation as he issued the order that would change the course of the war. All forces converge on known Prometheus facilities. Crush this human insurgency before it can take root. Leave no stone unturned, no human alive. Across the solar system, Hazari warships answered the call. They descended upon Europa, Mars, and the asteroid belt in overwhelming numbers. The space around each planet and moon became a maelstrom of energy weapons and explosions as human and Hazari forces clashed. On Europa, Steele watched as the first wave of Hazari ships breached their outer defenses. The newly activated Prometheus technology proved formidable, but the sheer number of enemy vessels threatened to overwhelm them. Commander, one of his team called out, We're receiving a transmission from Mars. It's Area. Steele's eyes narrowed as he absorbed the AI's report. The Terran diaspora's approach changed everything. They needed to hold out just a little longer. But as another tremor shook the facility and proximity alarms blared, Steele knew they were out of time. His gaze fell on the interstellar gateway, now fully powered and operational. In that moment, Steele made a decision that would alter the course of the war. Everyone, prepare for immediate evacuation. We're using the gateway. His team looked at him in shock, but there was no time for questions. As Hazari forces breached the outer chambers of the facility, Steele input the coordinates for Earth, a location he knew would be the last place the Hazari would expect. The gateway hummed to life, its energy field expanding to encompass Steele and his team. In a flash of blinding light, they vanished, leaving behind a confused and enraged Hazari assault force. As Steele and his team materialized in a hidden Prometheus facility on Earth, he knew the real battle was just beginning. With the Terran diaspora en route and Johnny's team in possession of a powerful Hazari-killing artifact, humanity finally had a fighting chance. Steele's hands flew over the facility's control panels, activating long-dormant systems. Area, he commanded, initiate global uprising protocols. It's time to take back our home. Across the planet, hidden Prometheus facilities began to awaken. In cities around the world, the first sparks of rebellion ignited. As Hazari occupation forces scrambled to respond, Steele turned his attention to their primary command center. Prepare for assault, he told his team, hefting a Prometheus energy rifle. We're going to cut off the head of the snake. As they moved out, Steele couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. For the first time since the invasion, humanity was on the offensive. The Hazari had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they would face the full fury of a species fighting for its very existence. Survival. As Steele and his team emerged from the gateway into the hidden Prometheus facility on Earth, the full weight of their task settled upon them. The facility hummed to life, responding to Steele's presence. Holographic displays flickered into existence, showing real-time data from around the globe. The Hazari occupation was everywhere, but so were the seeds of resistance. Status report, Steele barked, his eyes scanning the incoming data. Sir, Prometheus facilities worldwide are coming online, one of his team members reported. We're seeing increased activity in major population centers. Steele nodded, his fingers flying over the control panels. Area, initiate global uprising protocols. It's time to take back our home. The AI's voice resonated through the facility. Understood, Commander. Initiating global uprising protocols. Activating dormant defense systems worldwide. As Area's commands rippled across the planet, Steele watched the holographic displays light up with new activity. In cities around the world, hidden weapons caches were revealed, and long-dormant defense turrets whirred to life. Sir, we're receiving reports of human rebels engaging Hazari troops in multiple locations. Another team member called out. Tokyo, London, Cairo. The list keeps growing. Steele allowed himself a grim smile. The element of surprise was on their side, for now. Area, prioritize targets. We need to hit their command and control centers hard and fast. As the AI compiled a list of priority targets, Steele turned to his team. Prepare for assault. We're going to cut off the head of the snake. The team moved with practiced efficiency, checking their Prometheus energy rifles and activating personal shield generators. Steele led them through the facility to an armory stocked with advanced weaponry and equipment. Our primary target is the Hazari Command Center in New York, Steele explained as they geared up. It's heavily fortified, but we have the advantage of Prometheus stealth tech and our enhanced abilities. As they prepared to move out, a loud boom shook the facility. Steele rushed to a nearby viewport, his eyes widening at the sight. The sky above was filled with streaks of light as Hazari ships engaged with newly activated Prometheus defense systems. Looks like the party started without us, one of the team members quipped. Steele nodded grimly. Then let's not keep our host waiting. They emerged from the hidden facility into a world transformed by war. The streets of what was once a quiet suburb were now a battleground. Human rebels, armed with Prometheus weapons, engaged Hazari troops at every turn. Energy blasts lit up the night sky, and the air was filled with the sounds of combat and the acrid smell of ozone. Steel activated his stealth field, his team following suit. They moved like ghosts through the chaos, their enhanced reflexes allowing them to navigate the battlefield with uncanny precision. As they approached the outskirts of New York, the scale of the conflict became apparent. Hazari dropships swarmed the skies, deploying troops to counter the human uprising. But for every alien vessel, there was a streak of energy from a Prometheus defense turret, evening the odds. "Sir, incoming transmission from Johnny," one of the team members reported. Steele activated his comlink. "Johnny, what's your status?" Johnny's voice came through, punctuated by the sounds of battle. "We're back from the asteroid belt, Steele. You won't believe what we've found. We've rendezvoused with the Terran diaspora fleet near Mars. We're launching a coordinated attack on the Hazari fleet as we speak." Steele's mind raced with the implications. "Good work, Johnny. We're about to hit their primary command center on Earth. Keep the pressure on them out there." As they ended the transmission, Steele's team found themselves at the edge of what was once Central Park. The lush greenery had been replaced by a sprawling Hazari compound, its angular architecture a stark contrast to the surrounding ruins of human civilization. "There it is," Steele murmured, eyeing the fortress-like structure. "The heart of the Hazari occupation on Earth." He turned to his team, their faces set with grit. "Remember your training. We go in fast, we go in hard. Our objective is to neutralize their command structure and take control of their systems." With a nod, Steele activated his energy blade, its blue glow piercing the darkness. "Let's remind these aliens why they should have never come to Earth." As one, the team surged forward, their stealth fields shimmering as they crossed the open ground. Hazari sentries fell silently, taken by surprise by the invisible assailants. They breached the outer defenses with practiced ease, Prometheus technology making short work of Hazari security measures. As they penetrated deeper into the compound, the resistance grew fiercer. Steele's enhanced reflexes were pushed to their limits as he dodged energy blasts and returned fire. His team moved like a well-oiled machine, covering each other and pressing forward relentlessly. They fought their way through waves of Hazari defenders, the aliens' superior numbers countered by human drive and Prometheus enhancements. Steele's energy blade carved through Hazari battle armor, while his team's energy rifles left swaths of destruction in their wake. As they approached the central command hub, Steele's comlink crackled to life. Arya's synthetic voice came through, urgent and clear. "Commander Steele, I've processed battle data from across the solar system and identified a critical flaw in the Hazari command structure. Their forces rely on a centralized communication network vulnerable to a precisely targeted electromagnetic pulse. I've formulated a plan to exploit this weakness, but it requires simultaneous strikes on multiple Hazari command nodes throughout the solar system." Steele ducked behind cover as a barrage of Hazari fire peppered his position. "Understood, Arya. Transmit the plan to all resistance cells and Prometheus facilities. We'll coordinate from here once we've secured the command center." As Steele's team prepared for the final push into the heart of the Hazari command center, the battle for Earth and the entire solar system hung in the balance. The next few moments would determine the fate of humanity, and Steele knew that failure was not an option. An option. With a deep breath, Steele signaled his team. They burst through the final set of doors, energy weapons blazing. The Hazari command center was a hive of frantic activity. Alien technicians scrambled to respond to the sudden human offensive, their mandibles clicking in agitation. Steele's team moved with precision, neutralizing threats and securing key positions. As Steele advanced toward the central control platform, a towering figure emerged from the chaos. Commander Thea, the Hazari leader, her battle armor gleaming under the harsh lights of the command center. "So the humans have some fight left in them after all." Thea's voice resonated through the chamber, a mix of amusement and contempt. Steele raised his energy rifle, keeping it trained on the Hazari commander. "This ends now, Thea. Your invasion is over." Before either could make a move, the facility shook violently. Through the viewports, Steele saw massive ships descending from the sky. The Terran diaspora fleet had arrived. Thea's eyes narrowed. "You think your long-lost kin will save you? You've merely brought them to their doom." With lightning speed, Thea lunged at Steele. He barely managed to dodge, her razor-sharp claws grazing his armor. The two leaders engaged in a brutal close-quarters fight, their movements a blur of strikes and counterstrikes. As Steele and Thea battled, the rest of the strike team worked to secure the command center. They repurposed Hazari technology, integrating it with their Prometheus systems to fortify their position. Outside, the sky was alight with energy blasts as Terran diaspora ships engaged the Hazari fleet. The tide of battle was shifting, but the outcome remained uncertain. Steele's comm crackled to life. Johnny's voice came through, breathless but triumphant. "Steele, we've done it. We've captured the Hazari flagship." Distracted for a split second, Steele caught a powerful blow from Thea that sent him sprawling. He rolled to his feet, tasting blood. Johnny continued, "You won't believe what we've found. The invasion force. It's just a small faction of their species. Most Hazari don't even support this war." Steele's mind raced as he parried another of Thea's attacks. This changed everything. With restored dedication, Steele pressed his assault. His Prometheus-enhanced reflexes allowed him to anticipate Thea's moves, slowly gaining the upper hand. In a lightning-fast sequence, Steele managed to disarm Thea, her weapon clattering to the floor. He stood over her, energy blade humming mere inches from her throat. Thea's eyes blazed with defiance. "Finish it, human. Prove you're the monster we believed you to be." Steele deactivated his blade. "No, this war ends now, but not with your death." He extended a hand to the surprised Hazari commander. "Your invasion force doesn't represent your entire species. We know the truth now. Most of your people don't want this war." Thea's mandibles twitched, a sign of confusion. "How could you possibly know that?" "We've captured your flagship and accessed your central database," Steele explained. "We know about the expansionist faction that drove this invasion, but we also know they're a minority among your people." Thea's posture changed, the fight draining out of her. "Then, it was all for nothing. The lives lost, the worlds ravaged." Steele nodded grimly. "But it's not too late to stop it. You have the authority to end this, Thea. Call off the invasion. Let's find a way to coexist." For a long moment, Thea was silent. Then slowly, she stood. I never questioned our mission. I believed we were acting for the good of all Hazari." She looked at Steele, her alien features unreadable. "Perhaps it is time we did." Thea moved to the central command console, her claws flying over the controls. Her voice boomed through the facility and across all Hazari communication channels. "All Hazari forces, this is Commander Thea. I am ordering an immediate ceasefire and full retreat from the solar system. Return to designated rally points and await further instructions." Steele watched the monitors as Hazari ships across Earth and the solar system began to disengage. The relentless invasion that had pushed humanity to the brink of extinction was ending not with a final cataclysmic battle, but with a moment of understanding. As the Hazari fleet began its withdrawal, Steele's comm came to life again. "Commander," Arya's synthetic voice reported, "I'm detecting numerous incoming transmissions. It appears the Terran diaspora is requesting a meeting with Earth's leadership aboard the captured Hazari flagship." Steele exchanged a look with Thea, who nodded solemnly. "Tell them we're on our way, Arya. It's time to build a new future for all our peoples." As Steele prepared to leave the command center, he couldn't help but feel a mix of exhaustion and hope. The war was over, but the real work of rebuilding and forging a new path forward was just beginning. With the combined strength of Earth's survivors, the resistance fighters, and the Terran diaspora, humanity had a chance not just to survive, but to thrive among the stars. Steele took one last look at the Earth through the viewport, its scarred surface already showing signs of recovery. Then, with Thea and his team in tow, he set out to meet with the Terran diaspora and shape the destiny of humanity in this new era of interstellar relations.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.